everyday fix of facts and spicy sides.
From breaking headlines to backroom whispers.
All served hot and fresh. I'm Paolo del Rosario, standing in for Monique Tuzon.
I'm Ferdi Salvador, glad to have you with us.
And I'm Mai Rodriguez. This is the Daily Dish. Welcome, Paolo. How does it feel?
Guwapang Paolo who's lost 1 million pounds. Wow.
Thank you. I don't know about 1 million, but we're working on it.
You're
but it's
looking
great to be
great.
here. Thank you. Yeah, Monique's out on vacation, and because she's out on vacation, they had to bring in the big guns, and we're hoping for an even better show today.
Careful, she won't give you pasalubong.
I know
I'm not
Monique is
expecting
watching. She's gonna get you later. But Mai, what's going on with Ramil?
Yes, we're trying to get the latest from the areas devastated by this typhoon that battered parts of the Visayas and Luzon over the weekend. There were severe floods. I've seen did you see that video in Capiz in Rojas City?
In Rojas City, that was unusual because they didn't expect that kind of, I would say, water volume.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many unfortunate news items and stories about how the storm did devastate specific communities, and of course, we're going to be hoping that recovery efforts are on the way quickly.
Yeah, especially areas that have never seen floods before.
Yes, and we were watching the reports over the weekend also, and there's a family of 5 that perished because a tree fell on their house.
Yes.
Including a 5-month-old baby.
Including the baby.
Yeah, so our condolences to that family. And talking about condolences, we'd like to send our condolences to the family of PR powerhouse Susan Hoven, who unfortunately passed over the weekend.
We are remembering Madam Susan,
yes.
and condolences to the family.
Yes. And of course, business groups are putting the pressure on the government, saying that it's all lip service and no one's going to jail yet.
You know what? Everybody's getting impatient because, admittedly, matagal no. Before we're seeing anyone put to jail, anyone facing concrete charges, right?
Right, and there are groups already online making a countdown, rather a count up of days without any arrests, any convictions. So there is a lot of pressure on the government to at least get the process moving on. And right now, the business groups have been coming out demanding action. We've actually been covering that the whole day. A while ago with Attorney Karen Jimeno, it was addressed. Here in the morning show, Beautiful Day, it was also addressed. So
with Apang Pin.
So we are going to be hearing about that more and more.
And also, it is not helping that we don't see live streaming from the ICI, the proceedings. That's what people are asking for.
To make
for
it
transparency.
public. But aside from these protests, you had a protest this weekend.
Yeah, well, it wasn't my protest, I just mind you. But then yesterday, actually, for those who watched the LaSalle UP game, it was a finals rematch.
Were you there?
No, I was not because I was doing the PBA. But I was able to catch what happened at halftime, because at the halftime, both the LaSalle and the UP Pep squads came together and stood up against corruption by changing their cheers and cheering with each other against corruption. So the old UP chant, ikulong na yan, they did that, and LaSalle changed their cheer as well to say DLSU laban sa korap. So it was a filled Smart Araneta Coliseum, and it was in protest partly to the corruption that we've seen.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know. I missed the halftime.
Yeah.
I just saw the last few minutes of the game and UP lost. Better fight, better next time. I'm fighting. I'm rooting for you, fighting Maroons.
Kaya naka-blue today kasi panalo LaSalle.
Today blue. Oh, we're gonna get so bashed today, I'm telling you. All right, and of course, today we have the Carla Guevara-Laforteza as our live guest, talking about her career, her family, and what she's up to.
Yes,
Looking forward to that, those stories and more coming up. But first, the headlines. In today's headlines, changes at the DPWH, the agency appoints a new undersecretary while reintroducing an initiative meant to bring a new set of engineers. Meanwhile, the business community challenging President Bongbong Marcos to rewrite his family's legacy amid widespread corruption in the government. The Transportation Department prepares for the Undas break by carrying out surprise inspections in bus terminals. And she is ready to guide and develop aspiring actors. Carla Guevara-Laforteza will join us in the studio live. Our top story, the Department of Public Works and Highways has a new undersecretary and is now reviving a program that aims to recruit a new generation of engineers. Lyja Bonzo is live from Malacanang for the details. Lyja, tell us about this new appointee.
My DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon has appointed Engineer Lara Ingito Esquibil as Undersecretary for Convergence Projects and Technical Services, replacing resigned Undersecretary Are Perez. Esquibil previously headed the DPWH Bureau of Design and was part of the first batch of the Cadet Engineering Program. In line with this, Secretary Vince Dizon has announced the revival of the Cadet Engineering Program, which aims to recruit a new generation of engineers. This follows his meeting with former Secretaries Rogelio Babe Singson and Jose Ping de Jesus. Meanwhile, Dizon also announced that DPWH has around 2,000 vacant positions, which he plans to fill by promoting honest employees, including job order personnel. The Secretary also vowed to address some employees. Mai.
All right, thank you. Lyja Bonzo reporting. Corruption in the country today is worse than during the time of the late dictator Ferdinand E. Marcos. That's according to the Makati Business Club and its executive director, Apa Ongpin. On BNC's At the Forefront, Ongpin said this level of corruption has never been seen before.
Are we seeing a scale of corruption that was, you think, worse than during the era of Marcos Sr.?
Yeah, definitely. There, to be fair, when martial law was declared in 1972, let me use the active voice. When Marcos Sr. declared martial law in 1972, there was a lot of public perception and everything of corruption in traditional politics. And he said, we have to have a new society, right? And he was apparently able to clean up a lot of the petty corruption in those years, led by politicians. Of course, many analysts would say he actually just took it for himself. But during the martial law era, you did not have this scale of corruption among the legislature, for instance, and in local governments. Typically, it was all sort of minimized,
Business leaders are now demanding action on what they call massive corruption in flood control projects. They're calling for an independent probe and the prosecution of those involved and the recovery of stolen funds, warning that unchecked corruption puts both lives and livelihoods at risk. Ongpin added this is a historic opportunity for President Marcos to rewrite his family's legacy. The country's business community gathering for one of the biggest business expos at the 51st Philippine Business Conference and Expo at the SMX Convention Center. Paolo Barcelon joins us live from Pasay for the latest. Hi, Paolo. What can you tell us?
My Vice President Sara Duterte graced the opening ceremony of the 51st PBCE here in Pasay City, and VP Sara says technology could be a key weapon against corruption as she urges both the government and private sector to embrace digital transformation, and she addressed business leaders from various industries who attended the first day of this two-day event. The VP added that digitalization can make government transactions more transparent and accountable, eliminating room for manual manipulation and political favoritism. The Vice President also said digital transformation must be used to strengthen public service delivery and prepare Filipinos to become job creators and innovators in the digital economy. Now, VP Sara said earlier during her speech that she is indeed urging the various organizations to really try to adapt technology, and she also rather urged government to try and also embrace it. We also had an ambush interview earlier with PCCI President Nina Manjo, and she says she alongside the 30 other organizations who issued a statement yesterday and today and they are urging, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to double down on corruption that was unveiled during the flood control scandal. In particular, the PCCI says it wants no cover-ups and no railroading when it comes to the investigation of these corruption allegations. But they are confident that government is finding ways not just to address corruption issues, but to also make ease of doing business a priority, especially with the remaining 3 years of the Marcos administration. Mai.
Well, the widespread corruption has really shaken public confidence. Paolo, what is the PCCI telling you about the sentiment of foreign investors amid the flood control scandal?
Well, Ms. Manjo, we talked to her earlier, Mai, and she said that aside from addressing these corruption allegations, they say foreign investors are a little bit more optimistic that these corruption allegations will be addressed. And in fact, we have been seeing a lot of optimism, especially coming into the PBCE. We've seen different leaders really urging the government to really try and address these allegations. We've seen them really finding ways to cooperate with authorities and cooperate with the government, and especially with the media, especially here with the different press organizations that are coming here. By the way, Bilyonaryo News Channel and the Abante Bilyonaryo Media Group are media partners for this year's 51st PBCE. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Paolo. Barcelona reporting live from Pasay City. The Transportation Department shuts down an illegal bus terminal in Pasay during its pre-undas inspection. Justin Ignacio is on the phone to tell us more. Just what happened there?
My Transportation Secretary Giovanni Lopez carried out a surprise inspection of several bus terminals in Pasay City today as part of the government's preparation for the Undas 2025 travel rush. During the operation, Lopez discovered a bus terminal operating illegally. The same terminal had previously been ordered closed by then DOTR Secretary and now DPWH Secretary Vince Tizon. Lopez directed the immediate shutdown of the Elaville bus terminal, the revocation of the operator's license, and the impounding of all buses under its fleet. The terminal served routes from Bicol to Leyte. Lopez also visited 2 other terminals where he instructed operators to install additional electric fans, maintain clean and functional restrooms, and display fare rates clearly for the public. He stressed that illegal terminals will not be tolerated as they endanger the lives of passengers. The Secretary underscored that passenger comfort and safety is his top priority. Mai?
Thank you. Just Ignacio reporting from Pasay City. Tropical storm Ramil exits the Philippine area of responsibility after battering parts of the Visayas and Luzon over the weekend. According to Pag-asa, Ramil is expected to further intensify outside the PAR, likely reaching severe tropical storm status within the next 12 hours. Weather Bureau Pag-asa warns that rough seas and the outer rain bands of Ramil, combined with easterly winds, will bring strong to gale force gusts over the Ilocos region, the Cordillera, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, and the Occidental Mindoro. As per the latest update from the NDRRMC, several individuals are reportedly dead, 1 was injured, and 2 are missing following the onslaught of Ramil. The Commission on Elections brings back the special registration for next year's Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Joash Malimban now joins us on the line for the details. Joash, go ahead.
The voters' registration for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections officially reopens today. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia led the kickoff of the Special Registration Anywhere program, or SRAP, held at Luneta Park in Manila. During the program, the Commission accepted applications for new registration, change of name or status, correction of entries, and reactivation of voter records. One of the registrants we spoke to earlier reactivated her status and transferred her records from Laguna to Manila. The SRAP will also be conducted at the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, Mabini Hall in Rizal Park, and the Philippine Integrated Terminal Exchange. COMELEC says the registration period will continue until May next year, ahead of the barangay and SK elections in November 2026. The Commission targets to register an additional 1.4 million voters nationwide. Mai.
Thanks, Joash. Joash Malimban reporting from the COMELEC. Over 200 billion pesos from the original proposed budget of the DPWH was reallocated. Mavic Trinidad is on the phone to tell us more. Mavic, where did the money go?
6 days after the House of Representatives approved the proposed 6.7 trillion peso national budget for 2026, House Committee on Appropriations Chairperson Micaela Swansing faced the media today. In her ongoing press conference, Swansing began with the presentation of the proposed budget. According to her, the House version of the budget focuses on 3 key sectors: education, healthcare, and agriculture. She explained that from the Department of Public Works and Highways original proposed budget of 881 billion pesos, 245 billion peso was reallocated, leaving DPWH with a total of 625 billion pesos. The 245 billion cut from the DPWH budget was redirected to the 3 priority sectors, that's education, health, and agriculture. About 80% of the reallocated funds went directly to these 3 areas. Of the amount reallocated, 56.6 billion went to education, 53.7 billion to agriculture, 35.5 billion to health, and the remaining 21.3% was distributed to other designated budget items. Congresswoman Swansing also explained the controversial unprogrammed appropriations. She said that there is no current funding allocated for it under the 2026 General Appropriations Bill. She clarified that the government will not earn or generate any revenue from the unprogrammed appropriations, and no projects or programs will be funded through it. Items under UA will only be funded if there are excess or windfall revenues, new revenue measures, or approved loan agreements for foreign assisted projects in 2025. As of now, Swansing's presentation on the rest of the proposed allocations for the 2026 national budget is still ongoing. Mai?
Thank you, Mavic Trinidad reporting. Millions joined the No Kings rallies across the U.S., protesting what they call President Donald Trump's authoritarian rule and corruption. More than 2,600 demonstrations were held nationwide from New York to Los Angeles, with mostly peaceful, festive crowds chanting No Kings since 1776. Protesters accused Trump of undermining democracy through political prosecutions, militarized crackdowns, and appointing loyalists to key posts. Among them were veterans and even former Republicans who said they no longer recognize their party. Democrats praised the rallies as a stand for democracy, while House Speaker Mike Johnson dismissed them as hate America rallies. Analysts estimate turnout could top 3 million, one of the largest protests in recent U.S. history. South Korea is gearing up to host APEC leaders from October 31 to November 1, with eyes on a possible meeting between President Trump and China's Xi Jinping. Tensions are high after Trump threatened 100% tariffs on Chinese imports unless Beijing eases export curbs on critical minerals. Washington says a Trump-Xi meeting remains likely to cool the dispute. Reports also suggest Trump may meet North Korea's Kim Jong-un during his Asia visit, though talks remain uncertain.
And on to sports. A photo finish by the De La Salle Green Archers against the defending champions, the UP Fighting Maroons in UAAP Season 88. The Archers pulled off a thrilling win, defeating the Fighting Maroons by 3, 72-69, Sunday at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. La Salle ends the first round in a three-way tie for third place with Ateneo and UP, with a record of 4 wins and 3 losses. The cheer dance teams of UP and La Salle made noise online after teaming up for a halftime performance condemning corruption in the government. Take a look at this.
Robbery at the Louvre. Thieves broke into the world-famous landmark and stole priceless items in Paris Sunday. The French government says the robbers broke in and wrapped their heist by escaping on motorbikes. The robbery happened while the museum was open. The French Interior Ministry says the suspects entered the Galerie des Pavillons, home to the French crown jewels. The country's culture minister, Rachida Dati, says the thieves are professionals who target rare and highly valuable treasures.
To be completely honest, this operation lasted almost 4 minutes. It was very quick. We have to say that these are professionals. Organized crime today targets objects of art, and museums, of course, have become targets, because France, as you know, is a country of heritage, a country with historical objects of heritage with great value.
If we were riding high on her incredible win, what more from Miss Grand International 2025, Emma Tiglao? In her first Instagram post, Emma shares she's still in awe that her dream has turned into reality. Wearing her dazzling crown and clutching her trophy, the new queen thanks the pageant execs and her fellow Filipinos, calling them the heart of her unforgettable journey. Emma makes history, securing a back-to-back win for the Philippines after CJ Opiaza claimed the crown earlier this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new Miss Grand International 2025. Please take your first walk.
She looks so regal.
Congratulations,
Congrats, Emma. And she was just here in the Daily
on her
Dish.
show. That was really fun, actually. You missed it.
No, I missed it, but then can I just say, I think Monique mentioned this in the past, that kapag nag-guest yung mga beauty queen, beauty pageant
That is
contestants,
true.
nananalo sila.
Remember
We
Kirk
win.
Bondad? Kirk Bondad won Mr. International.
Emma
He was just
on, and
here.
we hope that, when she comes back home to the Philippines, she can guest again on BNC.
100%.
We definitely would want you back, Emma. Congrats.
You say,
Yes,
Paolo?
sir. I mean, can I just say that when we do have guests on over, their dreams come true. We had the beauty queen pageants. We've had all these contestants. We even had content creators get the collabs that they want.
Yes.
So really fun.
And we have Rampa, so that's super cool.
Yes, that is.
And I hope the Louvre gets back the jewels or whatever they stole. That is terrible. That's not only for the French, but for the whole world.
It's
That's
giving
true.
Ocean's 11.
It's like a movie.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like a-
movie. It's like Lupin,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. All
It's
these
insane.
movie
and open,
heists.
how brazen. Anyway,
Yes.
Mai.
All right, up next, we will speak with veteran actress and singer Carla Laforteza Guevara. The Daily Dish will be right back. Stay tuned. It's Carla Guevara-Laforteza.
Yeah, but that's your girlfriend.
E. Salvador.
Kilala. And welcome back. Like Monique would say, hello, hello. You're still watching The Daily Dish. Acting and singing are undoubtedly among her passions. For more than 3 decades, she has played multiple characters, not only in theater, but in television and film as well.
And now, with her vast experience, she has ventured into talent management. Let's welcome to the studio multi-awarded actress and singer Carla Guevara-Laforteza. Hello!
Hi, thank you for having
Like
me.
Emma Tiglao, you're also the pride of the Philippines.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm also a beauty queen.
You're also beauty. I like the way you waved a while ago.
Yes.
It's very beauty queen.
It's very beauty queen.
Yes, Paolo, of
Very
course,
regal.
like you, I just found out you're a thespian.
Yes, I used to be. Well, actually, you can't get rid of it. Sa
You
totoo
can't get
lang,
rid of it.
Right? You can. But, you know, it always goes back to my origin stories. I'm really, really curious how you got started. Because for me, you're already a legend in
Wow.
Philippine theater.
Ganun na tayo katanda, kuya.
Excuse me, I'm 35 years old. But super, like what you said, she is a legend. A lot of people don't, forget sometimes that she's part of Miss Saigon.
Yes.
A very long time ago. But you know what? There's been more than a handful of Filipinos who've done Miss Saigon, especially the role. So
But
there's
you're
more
one of the
to it.
first.
There's more to it.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
That.
part of the London cast back in 95. if I'm
95
not
to
mistaken.
97, yes.
But it's funny because you started out in theater just 2 years before, prior.
Yes,
Aladdin
I
93.
started with Repertory Philippines. I auditioned when I was 15, I think, 15. And then I did a couple of musicals with Repertory Philippines, mostly with the children's theater.
Yeah.
And then they had auditions for Miss Saigon when I was 18. And then they flew me out when I was 19.
I'm just gonna sit back because you guys have a lot of things to talk about. I'm so excited to hear about Paolo's thespian career also. But before I sit back, I want to know how many plays or stage productions you've done.
I have no idea anymore. I haven't updated my resume since God talked to Moses, but
Wow.
I've done quite a few, and with most theater companies in the Philippines.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Not just with Repertory Philippines, but I've worked with Trumpets, I've worked with PETA, I've worked with Theater Group Asia, which was the one who produced Into the Woods. I've worked with Atlantis.
Wow, all of them.
All
Yes.
of them. Even with Newport World Resorts. And then my upcoming show next year, which I still can't
Still can't say.
announce.
Yes,
Still
you
can't
can.
say, but it's for a different theater company again. But yeah, so it's nice to be able to work with different theater companies in the
Yeah,
Philippines.
you know, for the reason why we have a I guess a bit of a slight connection
Yes.
is because my mentor in theater actually was one of the people who recognized your talent first. Of course,
Yes,
Michael Williams.
Michael Williams,
Yeah.
you know, he directed me in Come From Away. And he's known me since the beginning. He had just come from Miss Saigon. And again, I was about 16 when I auditioned for Repertory Philippines. And as soon as I finished my song, I sang Part of Your World from Little Mermaid in front of Baby Barredo and
Oh,
Bibot
wow.
Amador
Yeah.
and Jai Virata. And he immediately came up on stage while I was going down. And he goes, "You're so cute!" He goes like that to me. "What's your name?" I said, "Hi, I'm Carla Guevara." At that time, I was still single, of course. And then my cousin actually is Robbie Guevara,
Yeah.
who's the artistic director of Nine Works Theatricals. He was the first thespian in the family, and I would watch his plays in Repertory Philippines, and he was actually one of my inspirations. And then he was the one who nudged me, "Hey, we're gonna have auditions for a new musical, Aladdin. I think you'd be great for it." So the rest is
But you know what's
history.
amazing? She was just telling me he's the first thespian in the family. But the Guevara ladies, okay? Wow, Carla's sisters, all 3 of them, okay? They sing super well. Monica.
We're 5.
5 pala, rather, sorry.
But only
Pasensya
4
na.
of us sing. Because Ate Sheila...
Did you just drop Sheila from the roster?
Oh, she's very good with declamations.
Sorry, 5 pala. So I love you guys. Sorry, 5. But among the sisters and yourself, why the others didn't pursue this kind of career?
You know what? Ate Monica is more of a
visual artist. I would say like she draws. She's an interior designer. Yeah, she bakes.
She cooks.
She cooks. Well, we all do. All the girls we were all trained by my mom to be able to cook and clean and do laundry, scrub the floors. We're very well trained. So
Thanks, Mamita.
Thank you, Mamita. So we can all cook, but yeah, Ate Monica is really the one who taught us how to. She taught. I have a famous Kalyos recipe which I was selling during the pandemic, and she was the one who taught me how to make that. And then Ate Jessica is more of a businesswoman. I would call Ate Jessica the junior of my dad. She's the accountant, she's the businesswoman, she's the serious one.
She's the church singer.
She's the calm one. She was the first church singer. And then she brought me along. And then we brought our youngest sister, Nikki, along.
Nikki.
Yeah. So there's Monica, the visual artist. There's Jessica, who's the businesswoman. There's Ate Sheila, who can do anything. She can be in politics, she can be in business, she can be a homemaker, she can do anything. And then Nikki is now in the States.
Yeah.
And again, she's like Monica's junior naman. Everything that Monica does, she does also. So she can bake, she can cook, she can do makeup, she can do everything. But I think I'm the only one who really, really had one passion. And it was just really, I was just so focused with becoming a performing artist. Ever since I was young. If you see, I think my mom still kept this grade 1 thingy of mine. What would you like to be when you grow up?
And you said?
An international performing artist.
Which you achieved.
Which you achieved.
That was, it was so specific. An international performing artist.
So, you know, to have that type of focus at such a young age is so rare because it changes so early. But at the same time, I know a lot of kids who want to do the same thing that you did. There's so many dreams out there. People are trying to do formal schooling. People are trying to learn by doing.
I never did formal schooling.
Actually, that's my question. So it's so interesting because you started out at 16, give or take, right? But then that meant you didn't go to college for it.
Oh,
that meant
that's a
you
very long story.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Do we have time?
No. So I mean, like with all of that, I mean, considering that it felt like you basically went on an OJT on an international scale.
Exactly what I was trying to tell my dad. No, this is the kwento there, because of course my dad is very like, you need to go to college. You need a fallback. You need to go, Dad. Why would I need a fallback if I'm going to be successful in the career that I want to be in?
Did you school Tito Boy?
I did. I did, and I proved him wrong. I would flunk all my academics.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even because I wasn't smart. It's because I couldn't care less.
Yeah, the focus
wasn't
there.
I don't need this. I just want to be in the drama club. I want to be in Glee Club. When is it? I can't wait for Friday where it's club day. You know.
Would you say the same? Because not you also handle a few artists.
Yes.
Would you say the same to them as an advice?
But you know, the artists I handle, they're already adults.
Okay.
So, and they're all college graduates. Thank God. I'm so happy. I didn't have to say, don't go to school now. No, they actually pursued their careers after college.
Yes.
So they're fine. But in my case, I just knew that I was going to be successful with what I was going to do because I just wanted it so much.
She's manghuhula.
Yeah, no, actually, when did you realize that that was going to be a success for you?
I can't even recall when it started. But all I knew was I didn't need to go to school for it.
Yeah, but rather, did you? What's that point when you said, "Wow, I made it"? Was that in London?
When I made it, not London. I think when I came back to the Philippines and I started getting lead roles. Because prior to that, I was always in the ensemble. Of course, I was new. I was 17. I was 18. You know, I was just fairly new in the industry, and I was in the ensemble, which was really good because that's very good training. So for those who want to start a theater career, it's always great to start in the ensemble because that's where you learn everything. And when I came home from London, that's when I started getting leads. Like Tita Baby immediately starred me as Liat. I mean, it's not really a singing role, but I was my first leading man in the Philippines was Raymond Lauchenko.
Oh wow! Yeah.
You know,
Who was on her show?
Yeah.
So he was a good friend of mine.
Advance happy birthday. He's
Yes.
turning 60.
No, you are not. You don't look a day over 30.
Yes, he admitted it. I will never admit my age. But you know what? You've gone so far, and for somebody to say that, you know, her career peak and knowing that you succeeded already or you made a mark was not even Miss Saigon, but was when you got back home. That's pretty cool because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's Miss Saigon for me in London," because that's a humongous deal.
It is a humongous deal, but again, when I did that there, when you do theater in West End, this is just in my opinion. When I did a theater in the West End, it felt like work.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it is a stable job. When you're in the West End, you're in Broadway, it becomes a stable job because they hire you for an entire year or 2 years. That's how long your contracts are. And it's an 8 show a week. So it becomes a job, you know. And I'm so ADHD. I love it in the Philippines because I can do 3, 4, up to 5 shows in a year.
Yeah.
And that's 5 different characters. Sometimes 10 characters, because sometimes there's shows that I do multiple characters in. So that's more fulfilling for me because I'm able to do so many different things. So yeah, so it felt. I mean, it was an honor to do that in London, especially being able to play Kim and Gigi at the same time. And also, I was also in the ensemble. But here in the Philippines, I'm able to do so many different roles. I can play so many different characters.
Yeah, it's so great because first of all, I like how you're advocating for ensemble because some people feel that that's not where they should start.
Oh no, it's the best place to start.
Exactly, and at the same time, I
just
agree.
Yung malalaking ego.
No, I'm just saying in general because they're especially for the younger ones who feel that they are very, very, very talented. Sometimes climbing the ladder is not their thing, and at the same time, being a super swing, which is to know everything.
Oh, the swings also.
What's a super swing?
Swing is a person who is hired to learn like all the female parts or all the male parts.
So if someone is absent because they're sick, they
you
can
jump
fill in. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
that's one of the best jobs.
Yeah.
You're a super swing.
No, I'm not.
In BNC,
Here,
you can do
yes.
it all.
I no comment on that.
But before we talk about super swing and super swinging, we're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back with the multi-talented Carla Guevara-Laforteza. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Daily Dish. Now, still with us is multi-award-winning actress, singer Carla Guevara-Laforteza. We are having such a great conversation.
I know! Off air, they were talking. I was like, I zoned out because it was Greek to me. But let's go talk about something more personal.
Yes.
Of course, you are, another role would be a mother and a wife, which you completely love. I see it every time we're together. Actually, I'm a Guevara, actually.
You're part of the family.
Yeah.
He's my kuya, so.
Yeah. So, obviously, one of your kids followed your footsteps.
May I correct? She's not following my footsteps. She is carving her own path.
But of course,
Pwedeng bitikuin talaga, di ba?
thank you so much, Miss Grand International
Yes.
Carla Guevara-Laforteza. But, of course, it's in the genes. She's also following in the sense that, she's performing.
She's also a performing artist.
Yes. Tell us how you mentor her or you guide her without being a helicopter mother/talent manager.
It's actually the opposite.
Okay.
I've never mentored her. I've never had to teach her anything. I'm not a teacher.
Wait, before they get confused, we're referring to Sofia Laforteza of the global sensation Cat's Eye.
Yeah. We have to mention that, by the way.
I am the proud mother of Sofia Laforteza.
Yeah.
I like introducing myself that way. And when they say, "Oh, please introduce yourself," "Hi, I'm the mom of Sofia Laforteza." I don't even say my name anymore.
But, Pa was asking in the green room a while ago, what was your question about Sophia?
Well, because there's some parents, we know this for a fact that there's some parents who are stage parents, but you are so happy to declare that you are not. In fact,
I'm
the
not.
complete opposite.
I guess one of the main reasons is because she entered the industry already as an adult.
Yes.
When she was growing
on her own.
On her own. When she was growing up, I didn't even have to tell her, "Hey, audition for this, audition for that." She'll say, "Mom, are there auditions? Can I go to this workshop? I said, blah, blah, blah. And she would be the one, kusa siyang apply for all these workshops. I said, go. I didn't want to be a overbearing mother. Of course, I provided her with all the tools.
So she's not a showbiz nepo baby.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
No, that's great.
I put her to dance class. She's taken all classes, like tap, belly dancing,
Wow.
ballet, jazz, hip hop. She's done it all. And growing up, she's had voice lessons. She would attend workshops. But again, it's all because she wanted it.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I was like, oh, let's put you here, let's put you here. I was like, no, do whatever you want. I don't want to make pakialam as long as what you do will make you happy and that you know that you're going to work hard for it and that you're not stepping on anybody's toes and that you know that God is always watching you.
Yes,
So
and
that's always
Paolo,
my
just to put it out there, and I'm not being a nepo uncle, but she has remained down to earth just
Oh,
like
yeah.
her mother and her father. No superstar, no ego, no nothing. In fact, my daughter's obsessed with her, and I had to call her tita Carla, and because she was freaking out when she found out that I know Sophia, I said, freak out.
Yeah. No, I can only imagine because I feel that Sophia has carved out a path that's so unique amongst Filipino artists in general. I could only imagine your reaction first off when you realize that this is becoming bigger than most people would have expected. How was that like?
This is the funny thing. It still hasn't gotten to me. It's like, wala lang. It's because I see her. I mean, she video calls with us every day. And then, wala lang. Then I'll watch YouTube. Maybe because I see myself on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see all my friends in
But just
YouTube.
like your fame kasi, Carla, it hasn't gone to your head.
It's just so, for me, it's just so normal to see myself on screen. And then I'll see my daughter. Okay, it's my daughter's on screen. Oh, my son, my Oreo, my youngest, is such a sports car enthusiast.
Really?
He does reels now.
He does?
He
Oreo
does
is so
reels.
cute.
He does media calls for these different car shows. So when I see his posts, I'm like, okay, parang it's so normal that I don't see it being such a, grabe, ay, ganito na pala yung anak ko, ay, ganito, ganyan. I want to feel that, I do. But at the same time, I try to say, but I shouldn't because it should be a normal thing for us because it's what we were meant to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it is special. It's hard to explain. It is so special. But then I guess that's how we keep our feet on the ground.
Yeah.
We think, it is special, but in our case, because we're artists, it should be normal for us to be like this.
What I love about that is because I feel that your approach to all of this, I think actually rubbed off on Sophia, and that's the reason why, according to her, not nepo uncle Ferdi, that's grounded.
She's super grounded. Like the only difference you'll see in her is her confidence. It's more, she's happier now. Because
But you know what would make our viewers happy?
What?
To get to know you better.
I mean-
And we have our favorite segment here called Rapid Fire.
Grabbing
there's
segue, I love it.
rapid
Gusto mo yung
fire.
segue ko
Yeah,
na?
I like that.
All right, so we're gonna ask you a series of questions, and you're gonna answer us very quickly.
Oh,
So
no,
Paolo's
wait.
gonna start.
Basta walang math.
Walang math.
Walang
Meron.
geography.
Wait lang, let me take out yung math at yung geography.
History, alisin ba namin? Okay, geometry. Pwede.
Hala.
All right, so let's
All right.
get things going here. Me
You first,
All right.
then me.
Okay, singing or acting?
Singing.
TV or film?
Film.
Film.
First role you played on stage?
I was in the ensemble in Aladdin.
Your pre-performance or backstage rituals?
I talk a lot.
Like how?
I don't vocalize, I talk. That's
Oh,
how I
that's-
Yung
warm
warm
up.
up
That's
mo.
how I warm up.
Okay.
That's funny. All right,
Talk a lot.
a song that defines your life?
Max.
I don't know. Waiting for life to begin.
Oh, I love that.
One line from there.
Waiting for life to begin.
A stranger in white. All right.
Passing.
I know that song. I love that song.
Okay. Your favorite actor or someone you look up to in the showbiz industry?
Oh, Lea Solonga.
Leia. Okay.
Besties in the entertainment industry.
Sheila Valderrama. And then I have in the mainstream showbiz, I have Piolo Pascual, bestie, my pops.
Hey, she's totally flexed that right now.
Yes, I'm so flexing that.
Local or foreign stage production?
Local.
Okay.
Favorite show you've watched lately?
The Bodyguard.
Oh,
okay, cool. Jeans or dress?
Jeans.
Lesson learned in show business.
Naglo-load. What have I learned in show
Nagbabuffer ka pa.
business? Just be kind to everyone.
Oh, nice. Hidden talent people don't know about you.
That's why they don't know it's hidden.
That's why spill the beans, spill the
Wait,
tea.
what's my hidden talent? Tanong si Godfrey.
Wag! Chef, baka may sabi siya. Alam mo naman yung kapatid ko. Anyway.
Most favorite musical here or abroad?
Avenue Q
Oh,
is my favorite.
I love that.
If you're not in showbiz, where would you be or what would you be doing right now as a career?
I'd probably be a restaurant manager, which was my career when I was in New York.
Okay.
What will you do with 1 billion pesos?
1 billion pesos, I'll pay my credit card debts first.
Sensible?
Yes.
Then I will give 10% to charity, 10% to the church, save the rest for the future of my children.
Okay, that was not a Miss Universe answer.
Yeah.
No,
I
that
like
was
No
real.
shopping for me, because that's my, I don't want to shop anymore. I'll just shop from my dad's closet. Thank you, Dad, for your
That's his
blazer.
jacket?
It's
Oh,
his.
how cool is that?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was like something.
And then this is Oreo's pants.
Thanks, Oreo.
Thank you, Oreo.
All right, if you were to serve a daily dish, what would it be?
Oh, kalyos.
Kalyos.
That's
Actually,
I'm sure-
magbenta tayo
I'm
ng
sure
kalyos.
that
Masarap
masarap
yung
palagi.
kalyos.
Oh, that's
All
so
right.
fantastic. That's a great way to wrap things up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Carla Guevara-Laforteza here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
darling.
me.
Okay, more stories coming up. The Daily Dish will be right back.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Daily Dish. Looks like the latest AI prank is going way too far. People are using AI to create fake images of homeless men as home intruders and sending them to family. Wow, talk about sparking real panic. The so-called AI homeless man prank is blowing up on TikTok with shocked reactions going viral. But police warn it's causing false alarms and advocates say it spreads harmful stereotypes. Authorities are asking pranksters to cut it out because some jokes just don't land.
My, that's just crazy.
It's crazy and it's potentially dangerous.
That's super
huh?
dangerous.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, obviously, because AI is starting to look so deceiving at the moment, right?
Yes, that's why it's scary.
That's why it's scary, and it does involve right now the police getting in at it, especially yung mga concerned parents who do call.
Totally. Like,
Yeah.
especially in the US. I mean, if you are... Well, I don't know if it's gonna work here, ha? Because... paano naman
Para hindi
siguro-
naman ganun ba kabilis yung response ng mga ano
Oo,
natin?
kasi for example,
police.
meron siyang AI, if there's an AI prank, right? Pero sa labas, it's dry, pero bumabaha naman pala. Kaya, you never know.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's just one of those things, diba? But at the same time rin, it's so scary how AI is becoming so much more realistic. And you
Absolutely.
can now manipulate things in your own home and basically put AI there.
Don't worry, guys. The kagwapuan of Paolo del Rosario is not AI, it's real.
Well, but Paolo the thespian, ha?
Paolo the thespian.
Wow,
We're gonna make him
Paolo.
sing tomorrow, but
That
for
is a
tomorrow,
surprise.
the day on the Daily Dish, we're gonna catch up with iconic model slash actress, entrepreneur, jewelry designer, Tweety De Leon Gonzalez, live at 12 noon. Catch that interview only here on the Bilyonaryo News channel.
Watch out for that. And
Yes.
how many days till Christmas?
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, we have only 66 days till Christmas.
Yay,
Oh my gosh.
66 days. That's it for us today. My Monday, October 20. Join us again tomorrow for more Real Talk.
A lot of spilled tea.
With zero filter. I'm Paolo del Rosario, sitting in for Monique Tuzon.
I'm Ferdi Salvador, always on top with the news and stories that matter most.
Thanks for making us your lunchtime companion. I'm Mai Rodriguez. That's a daily dish served.
Woo-hoo!